Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's Laurie from Cook Scrap Craft, and today I am doing a process video that utilizes something that I created from my Cricut Joy. If you don't know what that is, it's like a Cricut machine, but it's a little bit smaller, but it's a cutting machine, so you can use it to do cut files or all sorts of different things. So I have some photos that were from a little bowling date that my daughter and I took at the end of August 2023. Still going through my August 2023 photos. And to scrapbook these photos, I'm creating my own background, my own 12 by 12 background, using some Simple Stories heart-themed paper, a leftover piece of it, and a large leftover piece of some lawn fawn patterned paper. And I just kind of used my Creative Memories mat there as my guide to get it to be 12 by 12 to measure it properly. I used some adhesive squares to stick down, and then I flipped it over and just for some extra reinforcement, put down some washi tape along the seam on the back. So now I'm ready to put my photos down. Now the photos were all printed 4 by 6, but obviously if I'm doing a single page layout, it's going to be really difficult to get 5 photos on the page if they're all 4 by 6. So I need to do some cutting. So I have 3 photos that are horizontal and 2 that are vertical. And the horizontal ones I'm cutting to 4 by 4. And then the vertical ones I'm cutting down to 3 by 4. And the ones that are going to be 4 by 4, I'm going to stack them top to bottom along the page. I feel like you've seen me do this a lot this month, but it's a very easy way to get those photos down. It's a very easy design. Very easy design. So that's why I keep using it. Now, originally I was going to put those on the right-hand side, and I was going to try to mat them with that yellow paper. That pattern, if I had matted it, you wouldn't have even been able to tell that it was a pattern because you would have seen yellow on one side and white on the other side, and it just would have looked weird. So I chose not to use it for those photos, but I am going to use it to mat my 2 vertical photos. That way you get a little bit more of the pattern, and I'm gonna have it extend a little bit behind the 3 4 by 4 photos, so that way you really get to see more of that pattern. And I chose the yellow pattern because it was a piece of scrap paper, so it needed to be used. And also there's yellow in the heart pattern papers. The lawn fawn green doesn't really go, but I'm gonna let it slide because it's not an exact match, but I guess it's sort of close enough, and we're just gonna go with it. But if that's something that bothers you, then pick a color that matches your patterns better. So yeah, I'm just kind of cutting off the side a little bit there, and then I thought about doing cutting it into a banner, having a banner end to it, but it would have taken away a little bit too much because of how much would be covered by those other photos. So I will add a banner to that, but we'll get to that in a second. So now I have to just stick all my photos down. And I moved the 4 by 4s over to the left-hand side so that they were going more across the seam between the lawn fawn paper and the heart pattern paper. If you're new here to the channel, welcome. Thanks for joining me. My challenge for this month has been to do a process video every weekday for the whole month of February. So I believe this is starting the 3rd week of February. So if you've been following along with me this whole month, thank you and good for you, because I know that's a lot of process videos to watch, but I hope you're getting some fun inspiration, and it's helping you create more this month as well. Or at least, even if you're not using my designs as jumping off points, just the whole idea of trying to scrapbook something almost every day, hopefully that is inspiring you to kind of try that for yourself. And if you're enjoying watching these process videos, whether you're new to the channel or not, definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other process videos and scrapbook videos. And follow me on social media. I'll have all of those details at the end of this video. And give this video a like, because then it lets me know that you're enjoying watching it and this video is helpful for you and all that fun stuff. So I had to move those 4 by 4 photos over a little bit, and I did tear the paper. It happens, but I wanted to move them over because there just seemed to be too much space between the vertical ones and the 4 by 4s. But see, I have this cool embellishment that I cut from my Cricut Joy, and I'm going to cover up the torn paper. So I went into the Cricut design maker, design space, whatever it's called, and I just searched for free images free bowling images. And so this bowling ball came up, and then there's another one that's sort of like a bowling ball and some pins. So I cut them out using the Cricut Joy, and I have two sides of the bowling ball. I'm actually only going to use the smaller one. I did two because I thought I wasn't really sure what this was going to look like, and so I just wanted to be prepared. But I'll save the bigger one for another layout. I'm sure we'll go bowling again some other time. I know we will have. I do have photos from 2024 bowling that I can use that on. So we're good to go. But there were the holes in the ball. I just covered those in the back with some pink cardstock so that when you're looking at the bowling ball, you see the pink cardstock through the holes instead of like the layout through the holes. I don't know if this is considered a cut file. I guess so, but it's just backing, like you're backing a cut file. So now I'm working with the stuff down at the bottom. And this one was interesting because I was actually working with a scrap piece of paper. So when I got this out of the machine, I wasn't sure what I was going to end up doing. But I liked having just the separate pieces as opposed to the negative. Is that what I'm talking about? The part where it looks like there's a frame around it and then you back it like a cut file. I didn't really want it to be that. I want it to be the individual elements. So I am going to keep them as the individual elements. But add some backing to the holes in the bowling ball, and then add some backing to where there's supposed to be like the stripe on the bowling ball pin. So I just used regular cardstock and ran it through the Cricut Joy, and it had no problems doing that. That worked out well, and I put it down on a mat, a cardstock mat, I guess. And it worked really well. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have one of these machines or if you have a larger Cricut machine, but obviously I didn't film myself doing this. My Cricut machine is still upstairs in my dining room. I need to find a way to make some space in my scrap room, find some like desk space to put it down on so that I can use it downstairs. Although it's probably going to be too far away from our router to use it down there. So I might have to keep it upstairs just so that it's easier to get that internet connection because it connects via Bluetooth to my phone. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. Anyway, so now we're getting down to more of finishing up these cool bowling embellishments. And these were free. Obviously, there are stuff within the Cricut design space that you can pay for. I don't have a subscription to that, and I didn't want to pay for anything, so I just found the ones that were free. I also added a little chipboard embellishment to one of the photos. It says family memories or family moments. And over on the left-hand side, I'm going to add more embellishments to that. Over on the left-hand side, I'm going to add more of a title around that bowling ball. It's going to be kind of a long title, but that's okay. And then once I get these stuck down with a combination of adhesive squares and small glue dots, then I'm going to continue on. And I didn't adhere that bowling ball down yet, but I need to do that so we can cover that paper tear. I'm just cutting a banner, as I said I was going to do before, out of the leftover pink cardstock. So just tying more of that color in. There's some pink in the pattern paper hearts. And so I just want to kind of have a little bit more of that color so that everything's kind of cohesive. And that was the big giant bowling ball. So the small one I printed, it was about 3 by 3, not exactly. Maybe I think like one piece, one side was smaller than 3 and one was a little bit bigger than 3. But the bigger one I got to be exactly 4 by 4. So if you're interested in finding this within your Cricut system and you want to print out something similar, those are the sizes that I did. And I think the 3 by 3 was definitely a perfect size. If this layout had fewer photos, I might have done the bigger one, but you don't know. And I had the paper, I had the cardstock. So I just went ahead and printed 2 sizes. So I just moved the banner up a little bit so that it would overlap or underlap, I guess, with the bowling ball there. It's not totally straight and it's like bothering me, so I have to do a lot of picking up and moving and picking up and moving. But yeah, so the photos that I have, the 3 photos on the left-hand side are of the scores. 2 are of the scores, and then 1 is of like a silly thing. They took our pictures when we started the game, and then as you played the game, they would show funny, like, I guess they're called interstitials, is what they're called in like the TV industry. But they would play these funny things and your image would be on the screen in like someone else's body or whatever. It was really strange, but funny. So that's why I took a picture of it. My daughter thought it was really cool. Bowling is so much different than it was when I was a kid. We went to a bowling alley last summer, and if you were playing with people who needed the bumpers, but you didn't need the bumpers, you could program it so that the bumpers would come out for those players, but then they would go down for you. Isn't that amazing? I can't even believe it. I was like, what? Anyway, I'm using some Simple Stories alpha stickers to create the title, Mom and Daff Bowling. I don't really enjoy, I don't know how these were supposed to be designed, but you can see like the M and the P, they have those curly pieces on the bottom. That means that if you were to put your letters in a straight line, they would either have to be overlapping or there would be a lot of space between the M and the O and the P and the A. And I think that looks weird. So I don't know what looks weirder, to have the letters kind of like up and down that way, or to overlap them, or to have space. What do you guys think? Because I really like the design of these letters. I just feel like the curly cues are a little strange. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys would have done down below in the comments. Not that I'm going to peel these up and change it, but for next time, if I use these again, then I have some input from the crafty community. All right, so I have to use some Elmer's glue to stick down a few more chipboard embellishments, or actually, no, not necessarily the chipboards. I put an arrow, an American Crafts arrow down, and those stickers have really lost their adhesive, so they need a little extra help. So I put an arrow down, I got a heart. I'm really going through my embellishments to find just very generic things that could be useful for this layout, because obviously I don't have any other bowling embellishments. I didn't buy a bowling scrapbook kit. I just have the pieces that I cut out from the Cricut Joy, and then everything else kind of has to just fill in and be like whatever. So there's another arrow. I really like the colors on those. I like the style of those. I just wish that the adhesive was a little better. And maybe that's because I bought them on sale, and so they were kind of old. But the Elmer's glue works really well, I have to say. It's a really handy element to have down on your craft desk, along with baby wipes. I should make a blog post or a list or some sort of video about all the things that you should definitely keep out on your scrap desk, things that will come in handy at all times. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. So I did another banner, but this time I used a yellow pattern paper, and I'm just layering it up with a little tag from a Vicky Boutin collection where I'm going to put the title for this. I don't do any journaling on this one. I didn't really have the space for it, and I think the photos are pretty self-explanatory. I don't think we need, and you know, we went bowling a lot that summer because we participated in the Kids Bowl Free summer program. So I know I've done other layouts about Kids Bowl Free. I don't really think I need to do another one that explains what it is. You know, I think we get the idea at this point. If you're going through this album, you would probably already know. So I'm just going to leave it with the date and add a couple more little embellishments there, again, gluing them down. I like the mishmash of the chipboard with the vinyl stickers, maybe that's what they are. I don't know. But I like the way that this turned out, 5 photos on one layout. I hope that you liked the way it turned out too, and that you had fun seeing how I worked with those Cricut Joy embellishments that I cut out. Definitely follow me on social media for more, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another scrapbook process video. Bye.